Great to have you with us. Now, the Fulani community in the northern region is accusing officials of the National Identification Authority of harassment and refusal to register them, though they have all requisite requirements for the registration process. But speaking to JoyNews, Head of Corporate Affairs of the National Identification Authority, ACI Francis Palmdetti, said, although the matter has not come to the authority's attention, there are laid down procedures to address such grievances.
Now, we don't, from the onset, determine which tribes or which people are qualified or not qualified, because the law on citizenship doesn't specify tribes, national, ethnic groups, or even languages spoken. And so it's an objective criteria. Now, when you come to the center, the requirements one has to present the birth certificate or a passport or a certificate of acquired citizenship. If you don't have that, you need somebody a relative who has already registered to vouch for you, or you need two persons in a category that we have as a list of categories: a teacher, an assemblyman, a public servant, a civil servant, members of the security services, a licensed professional, etc. Out of that list, you can pick two people who have already registered with a card to vouch for you.
Yeah.
Now, if you appear before our officials and you present the document, they will ask you questions to establish your eligibility to register. If in the process of asking you questions, it is evident that indeed you do not qualify or you are not a citizen of Ghana as the law stipulates, you will be challenged. Now, when you are challenged verbally and you do not insist and walk away, that's fine. But if you insist, there's a process you must be taken through. It's called a challenge process. Anybody at all can challenge you, be it the official or even an applicant. Now, when you are challenged, two forms are given to you. One form you have to send to the chief of your village or your hometown, and the other form is given to you to give to the assemblyman within your locality to fill. Those two documents are returned with the registration form, and we submit this to what we call the District Registration Review Committee, made up of a judge. You have the divisional or district commander of the police service as a member. You have a representative of the Ghana Bar Association as a member. You have a rep from the education service, social welfare, and the religious authority as members. They would make a determination as to your eligibility to register or not, or whether you are qualified to register. When they are done and you are qualified, they'll tell NIA you are qualified and therefore you should be allowed to register, and we will allow you to register. If you are not qualified, they will tell us and we will not register you. You also have the right to appeal. You can appeal further to the regional registration review committee, and then you also can appeal to the court. That's the procedure. So if anybody goes to our center and that individual is challenged or that individual is refused to register, that person has the right to insist on being registered, and they take it to the challenge process. We are not out to single out any community. We are doing a registration. Anybody who shows up and is qualified, we register the person. But if you show up and you do not meet the criteria, you will not register.
Away from that story, water supply to Kumasi and other parts of Ashanti region is under threat as siltation caused by encroachment and pollution hits the Barikesse and Owabi dams. Ghana Water Company officials say the Owabi Dam, which supplies 18 million gallons out of 49 million gallons daily from the two treatment plants, has dropped in depth from 21 feet to 6 feet. There are fears Ghana could be compelled to import water in the near future if sand winning and other activities are allowed to continue. Prince Appiah joined a team from the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission on an inspection tour of the two dams and has come through with this report.
Millions of residents of Kumasi and surrounding communities depend on Barikesse and the Owabi dams for water. Supply capacity of Barikesse is 30 million gallons, while Owabi accounts for 80 million gallons a day. However, activities of encroachers, including land development, farming, sand winning, and indiscriminate dumping, threaten existence of the two water sources. Owabi Dam, which used to be 21 feet deep, is now only 6 feet, which reduces its water holding capacity by 2/3. Ashanti production manager for Ghana Water Company Limited, Charles Tulasi, briefed the PURC delegation.
Happening with their activity, the dam is gradually getting silted. So the capacity the dam has to store a lot of raw water would be in future be in jeopardy. Said that when it comes to the dry season, we need adequate amount of raw water to treat. We will not have it in future going forward. So their activity is having siltation on the dam. It's also introducing pesticides into the water. Now, when we have the more pesticides they introduce, the more chemicals we have to use to remove those pesticides. So it's increasing our production costs. It means that in the future, we are doing 30 million gallons a day. The installed capacity 30 million gallons a day. In future, the next 5 years to 10 years, if this situation continues, then instead of 30 million gallons a day capacity, we will be doing, say, half of it.
The delegation from the Public Utilities Regulations Commission, led by the Commissioner, went on an inspection and monitoring tour of the 2 dam sites. PURC Commissioner Mame Oforidufie says the almost crisis situation can potentially lead to tariff hikes.
Has led to a dam which should have a depth of 21 feet, now coming to 6 feet. Silted up by sand winning and other human activities. I mean, it's getting close to almost a shutdown. And so it is a very serious situation now, because at the end of the day, it impacts the cost of operations, which with any responsible regulator, you will have to use as a pass-through. And we are sounding the alarm now, because very soon we will be struggling with water.
Technical Committee Chairman of PURC, Ishmael Ajekumhene, proposes immediate action to halt the destruction. He says the situation could land the country into importing water.
Because these activities are definitely going to lead to a situation where we wouldn't get Owabe existing like this in the foreseeable future. Let's act now, and we expect the media to champion this crusade and make sure that the people understand that we are getting to crisis levels and we all need to act.
Meanwhile, Ghana Water Company says it is mobilizing resources to begin the dredging. Prince Apia reporting.
To health now, and the Jobbin Municipal Hospital has become the first in the Ashanti region to receive medical supplies through the Zipline drone medical service. It comes on the back of the opening of the region's drone medical center at Asante Mampong. Nana Sentimenta has more in this report.
It's my honor and pleasure to declare the second drone delivery center in Mimpanya in Asante Mampong duly commissioned. May God bless us all in our homeland Ghana and make it great and strong.
The Ashanti Region Center, sited at Impenya in Mampong Municipality, was officially commissioned on Thursday by President Akufo-Addo. First, medical supplies were delivered at Jobbin Municipal Hospital, where some patients were in dire need of blood for transfusion. Medical Superintendent Dr. Kofi Boabos Hamilton described the delivery as timely and life-saving.
We had requested this medication at the regional medical stores, and it was not available. So we used this opportunity to request this amount of the drug. Unfortunately for us, the amount just came. We all saw the flight coming and dropping by parachute. As we can see, the product, pharmacist, it's intact, though it fell from a height, because it was well protected, and we are very, very happy.
President Nana Akufo-Addo recalled the controversy over introduction of the drone medical services, indicating politicization of issues in the country has done the people no good.
Today, we can all see how impactful this service has been just within the few months of its operations. These testimonies point to one thing. We cannot afford to play politics with everything in this country. The incessant politicization of all issues does no credit to Ghanaian politics.
Managing Director of Zipline, Dana Mafo, says the service has since its inception delivered over 5,000 products to save lives irrespective of political affiliation.
The center in Ominako now is serving 52 health facilities, and we will be serving 16 facilities here at Impanya Distribution Center from day one. Over the next few weeks, we'll begin delivering to hundreds of additional health centers and facilities, and by April of 2020, we'll be delivering to almost 2,000 health facilities across the country.
For Joy News, Nana Asensumensa, Mpenya.
We stay in the health sector, and national health insurance clients in the Bongo district no longer spend nights at the premises of the NHI offices just to have their health insurance registrations renewed. This is due to the mobile renewal service introduced by the National Health Insurance Authority late last year. To help make it more convenient for people at the community level who may still not be conversant with the service, the Bongo District Health Insurance Authority has organized a stakeholders forum with heads of basic schools in the district. The aim of the forum was to discuss ways to teach school children who can in turn teach their parents at home how to use the mobile renewal service. Upper East Regional Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
The National Health Insurance Mobile Renewal Service was launched in the Upper East region in December last year. The service allows clients to renew their health insurance in the comfort of their homes by dialing the short code *929# and following prompts thereafter. According to Bongo District Manager of the NHI, Muhammadu Seidu Akuguri, more than 60% of the clients who have renewed their insurance between January and June this year used the mobile renewal service.
Last year by this time, if you came to our office, you would see a whole crowd of people. Some came there and slept for 3 days before they were able to renew their cars. But with the introduction of the mobile renewal service, when you go to our office, you virtually don't get more than 30-40 people waiting to renew. Sometimes you come and there's even nobody waiting to do renewals.
To encourage more of its clients to use the mobile renewal service, the Bongo District Scheme of the NHI has organized a forum with head teachers in the district. The aim of the forum was to discuss ways by which school children could be taught how the health insurance mobile renewal service works, so that where parents are unable to use the service at home, the children could always assist them.
We know children are fast, and children of families who are unable to read or write or unable to use the mobile phone can help their parents do that using the mobile renewal service. Some areas have challenges with mobile network. They are not able to use it. And some people are not able to use it properly because of lack of education on the service. We have identified major markets in the Bongo district. So every market day of each of these major markets, we have a team in the market going around sensitizing people and also offering demonstration mobile renewal services for people who are interested in doing so.
Upper East Regional Director of the National Health Insurance Authority, Sebastian Alakpolinsa, said he believed the forum would help improve NHIA membership in the region.
And the emphasis is to drum home the role of the teacher and even the people in driving our membership forward. And we've seen that they will basically do the compilation of the list for us. They will educate the people and the teachers together can also educate their parents and their families on the mobile renewal, as well as the need for them to get enrolled into the National Health Insurance Scheme. And I think when we do this across all other districts, we'll be able to achieve the universal health coverage.
Some of the head teachers who participated in the forum spoke to JoyNews.
Oftentimes I've heard people say that When I'm not sick, there's no need to register. But with this one, we'll be able to enlighten them. So the ones there's a common pool to subsidize our healthcare, there'll be the need that everyone gets involved in order not to sabotage the program.
We were not aware, and initially we had problems with the compilation of the results and other things. But with this information that they have given to us, certainly we should be in the position to assist our people to access this service. So at the end of it all, we all will have free access to the health insurance.
Gone are the days you go to the health insurance office, people go queue there for a number of days. They may even sleep there because the facilities are limited. Said that it can cater for a large number of people in a given time. But now you can sit at the comfort of your home and do it. I think it's a drastic improvement. And I think it will help both parents, teachers, and then all the people involved.
For Joy News, Albert Sorry, reporting from Bongo.
Let's do some politics now. And former President John Mahama is accusing government of plotting to wreak havoc and create confusion during the 2020 polls. Mr. Mahama, in making the claim, cited a letter in which the Upper West Regional Security Council requested NPP regional chairman to submit names of persons to be trained for next year's elections. The NDC's flag bearer says the party subsequently followed up on the letter and discovered that indeed government is training thugs at Isitware for the election, a situation he described as worrying. He fears their actions could destabilize the peace in the country. Mr. Mahama made these allegations when President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Roland Afil-Moni, led a delegation to pay a courtesy call on him.
We remember what happened in Ayawaso West Wuogon. I pray that God forbids that nothing like that ever happens again. But you know the issue of vigilantes, you know, that especially one party is training. I remember at the time of Ayawaso West Wuogon, there was a letter that came out, you know, asking some party executives to bring able-bodied people to be trained, you know, as security for that party during elections. Since then, we have evidence that those people are being sent to Isitware and trained in batches over and over again.
Former president also accused the National Communications Authority of shutting down pro-opposition media houses.
I believe that we have situations of, you know, some abuse of the media, oppression of the media. We fought to open the media space so that our people can express themselves freely. There has occurred under this government a situation where the law is deliberately used to shut down dissenting stations. And it is unfortunate. I mean, if you look at the pattern of the stations that have been closed using the law, they're all pro-NDC stations. And I think it's a very bad precedent because I pray that it doesn't happen in future, that the shoe is reversed and some other government comes and shuts down stations that are pro-opposition. And I believe that GJA cannot but condemn this, you know, in the highest terms. The law is just being used. I mean, the stations have appealed to the electronic tribunal. Somehow they've managed to get the judge to resign. Government has refused to appoint a new judge to adjudicate the case deliberately, just so that they can keep the stations closed. It's totally unacceptable. But I just want to caution the NCA, the way they're going, the way technology is going, a time will come when you don't need the NCA, you don't need a frequency. And they're going to force stations to, you know, bypass the NCA, because if I don't use a frequency, I don't need you to give me a frequency to broadcast. And that technology is coming.
Now, President of the Ghana Journalists Association, Roland Afil-Moni, appealed to former President Mahama to ask his followers to refrain from assaulting journalists.
We expect the leadership to impress upon their followers to keep their hands off journalists. Because if journalists are attacked, our democracy is attacked. And if our democracy is attacked, then the soul of this nation is attacked. And no one knows the unthinkable consequences of attacks against journalists.
Now, this week has been an eventful one in terms of conversations around sexual harassment following the BBC Africa's documentary Sex for Grades. Media personality Nana Banamwa and Diana Adeko joined Enima Enimado on News Desk to share insights on what's the thin line between compliment, flirt, and harassment is. They agreed the issue of sexual harassment is pervasive and everyone is at risk.
I trust it would have been swept out and the next issue will be on the table if these actors were not the one in the news. So it's a sad story, but it's good for all of us. I think it's held the discussion on for long, and now we're thinking, how do we move it away from just discussing what it is to get real actions and suggest solutions to how organizations and institutions can address it. And because the practice is prevalent not only in school or academic institutions, it's prevalent at the workplaces, it's prevalent in the churches at very worrying state, and it's also going on even in our homes, and the sexual abuse of different forms. So it's in every space. This morning on radio we heard about somebody who was almost molested in a trot or in a bus. So it cuts across our society, and it's important that we keep the conversation going, but hope not that international media keep picking on our stories when we sit as if we do not know what's going on. Let perpetrators understand, because we notice from all the discussion around the UGBBC thing is that people are worried about how they are seen, perceived, and reputation, and so it's more scary to people than the distraction to the lives of the victims. Yeah. So we also want potential perpetrators and harassers to understand that, look, her story, she could receive all the bashing, or he could receive all the bashing on social media for being a bad person. But trust me, your reputation just got washed away. It's a whole systemic issue that needs to be tackled from all fronts. Civil society has a lot of work to do.
Talking about it enough. We shy away from issues around sex. We are not giving people the platform, the confidence to come out and talk openly about their experiences. For instance, if any student had gone to the university council, and I'm not talking about just Legon, any of the universities in Ghana, to go and report a case of sexual harassment from a lecturer, would the university take it seriously? Would the dean take it seriously? Would they investigate? Would they bother? Would they blame her for the way she dressed instead? Would they say that, okay, this is what you said and this is what warranted the action from the lecturer? So I think that it's a perfect time to talk about it, and I think if you've been harassed either in school, in the classroom, in church, in a trot run, I found that horrendous. It was too much for me to handle. Yeah. You know, it's happening everywhere, and so we should give people the confidence to talk about their stories, to talk about to share their experiences, because we all draw lessons from them. And a lot of the time, people don't know that they are in the wrong. They don't know they are harassing women. So when you talk about it, people pick a lesson or two from it. That, oh, for what I said, for what I did, I think I crossed the line, and I can't go that way.
Right. Lenaba, have you been harassed before?
So many times. So many times.
How have you dealt with it?
For instance, I hardly get it, you know, physically, one-on-one. There are times when I shared this with Daniel in the morning, on the morning show, that I ran into a man that I respected so much. He had never seen me in person, but I see him on TV a lot. I've even engaged him on the phone in an interview, and then he said, oh, I didn't know your chest was this full.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And at that particular moment, all the respect fizzled out, and I dealt with him that don't you ever, like even in your wildest dreams, ever say this to me again. And I told him off, you know. And then there are times when people will send you messages, they'll send you videos. I mean, how can you take a picture of me from my page and record yourself wanking over my page, and you reach orgasm, and you think that if I send this to Nanabo on WhatsApp, she should feel so good about herself? That is harassment. And I was getting that all the time when I was using my 0244 for WhatsApp. So I had to change my number. And now I change my number every month or every 2 months.
Interesting revelations today on News Desk, and as you heard them referred to on the morning show on radio. Let's, however, take you quickly to the northern region, because we understand there has been flooding in some parts of the capital, Tamale, especially in the Sawaba area. Martina Bugri is on the line with us. Martina, give us a picture of what's happening.
There was some downpour early in the early hours of this morning, and some areas in the metropolis are flooded. Areas with poor drainage, I must say, are the most hit areas, and the Sawaba area is one of such areas. Several homes have been flooded, and you had water up to the knees of most people. And so you go into homes, and they've eventually packed everything out because everything is destroyed.
Right.
And not just Sawaba, we also have areas along the Gumani areas where we have had water flood areas too. And so areas normally that are lowland and then have poor drainage, they have been the worst hit today.
Tell me about the people who have been affected.
They said they have complained severally. They believe that some parts of the drains are small. That's one concern they are raising. They say the drains are small. And they believe that some have also built on the waterway, and that's what keeps flooding the area. They have called NADMO, they have reported to the assembly, but nothing is being done.
But has NADMO reacted to the flooding? Has NADMO reacted to the flooding?
No, we are told that no one has been here since morning.
Right. Do we know if there are any casualties? Has any property been destroyed?
Several properties destroyed, but there are no fatalities.
Thank you very much, Martina. Keep an eye on that. We'll come back to you when there are updates, especially from authorities. Back to Accra now. And she led the most vibrant women's group in the country, the 31st December Women's Movement, during the 19-year rule of her husband, Jerry John Rawlings. But former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman Rawlings said, contrary to public opinion, the state contributed nothing financially to activities of the group. Opening up on the issue for the first time on Voice of America Straight Talk program, Nana Konadu Agyeman Rawlings said concealing that information from the public remains a regrettable decision.
Single most regretful thing is the fact that I was not able to let Ghanaians know that I was not getting any money from the government.
Right.
Not 1 cent.
Really?
Yeah, I literally had to travel every time I needed to get something for women and children. I was going to, in those days when nobody was going to China, I was. Every 2 years I was in China.
Really?
Yeah, I was in Japan, I was in Austria, I was in the United States, I was in, name it, anywhere that I could get help. So it's a regrettable thing for me because I was not able to tell the story, which I think in my next book I will do so.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody thought that the state was giving me money. I didn't get any money from the state at all. At all. So if I thought that there was a program running that I could get more women to be involved in it, then I started going to the minister and begging them that, look, this program will be very good if you bring more women into it, because they can do X, Y, Z, and they will earn an income. But the guys will still be in charge. I mean, I'm not saying they should take over or anything like that. And that kind of worked in some places, but that was rare. Really? Most of the money was coming from outside, and I was not able to tell my story. So everybody thought, yeah, she had it easy. She had money from the government.
Now, the former First Lady also disclosed that her husband, former President Rawlings, rejected her proposal for financial support when she approached him.
The first time we were looking for a huge oven to work and bake more bread and be able to send it to various hospitals and so on, because I was making money from that as well. I was supplying gari and palm oil to the armed forces from the women. Yes. And then I sent the money back to them so they can continue producing. The first time I went to him, because the executives were like, we want to buy a bigger oven. Why don't you go to your husband and ask him if he can give us a loan, which we will pay, you know. And I keep saying I stupidly said yes, I'll go and check. And I went to the seat of government, the castle. They were having a meeting, so I was waiting. And his ADC came and said, oh, he said he will see you in 2 minutes. So don't make it long because they're busy. I said, no, just one little thing. So I asked him, I told him that, we're wondering if he can put in a word with the Minister of Finance to give us a loan of just 250,000 at that time, CDs.
What would that be, for example, in US dollars?
At that time, it may have been maybe $25,000.
About $25,000.
About $25,000, yeah. And he said, what did you say? So I repeated. He said, yeah, I've heard you doing this with the women and all that. But, and I told him, we will pay you, we will pay back to the state. He said, but if you're going to pay, then go to the bank. If you're worth your salt, go to the bank. I said, I should go to the bank. Yes, go to the bank. So I said, okay. So it's a no then. He said, I said, go to the bank and use your skills to get the money.
Interesting one there. Now, coming up in Business Association of Oil Marketing Companies is calling on government to reduce the influx of fake engine lubricants onto the Ghanaian market. Stay with us for these and more.